lived in a quaint two-story house nestled in the suburbs of a town that was as normal as any could be. They had everything one could wish for: a loving marriage, good jobs, and two beautiful children, Lily and Jake. Or so it seemed. It started with small, innocuous things. Mark would wake to the sound of laughter echoing through the house, a sound so familiar yet strangely distant. Emily would find toys scattered around, toys that hadn't been touched in ages. At first, they chalked it up to the messiness of family life. But the laughter grew louder, more persistent, especially at night when the house was supposed to be silent. One evening, while preparing dinner, Emily noticed the wall in the kitchen was damp. She touched it, and her fingers sank into what felt like wet clay. Peeling back the wallpaper revealed not mold, but tiny, child-sized handprints, still wet, as if pressed just moments ago. The children, now teenagers, didn't acknowledge these oddities. When asked, they would stare blankly, their eyes void of recognition. Mark found their old baby clothes in their closets, clothes that should have been packed away years ago. The eeriness escalated. Lily's voice would call out from her room at night, asking for a glass of water, but when Emily hurried to oblige, she found the room empty. Jake's laughter would bounce off the walls of the basement, a place he hadn't played in since he was 6. One night, the terror peaked. The couple heard a cacophony of children's laughter, loud and chilling, from the backyard. They rushed out, only to find the swings moving on their own, in the still night air. The laughter seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Desperate, they decided to check on their children, who were supposedly asleep. But when they entered the rooms, they were empty. The beds were made, untouched, as if no one had slept there for years. In a frantic search, Mark and Emily found old newspapers hidden under their bed, yellow with age. The headlines screamed back at them: "Tragic accident claims lives of 2 siblings." The article dated back to several years ago, detailing how Lily and Jake had died in a freak accident on a school trip. Reality shattered. The laughter they heard, the toys, the handprints, it all clicked into a horrifying mosaic of loss and denial. They had been living with ghosts, or rather, the ghosts of their children, because they couldn't accept the truth. The house was never the same. The laughter continued, a constant reminder of their loss. Mark and Emily, mad with grief, continued to set the table for 4, preparing meals, speaking to empty rooms, living in a world where their children never died, a world where they could still hear their laughter, if only they listened closely enough. But as time passed, the laughter grew fainter, not because the spirits were leaving, but because Mark and Emily, trapped in their denial, were slowly fading away, becoming one with the house that harbored their eternal sorrow. The tale of Mark and Emily serves as a grim reminder of how grief can twist reality, how love for the lost can drive one to madness, and how sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we refuse to acknowledge have gone.